The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our Child Nutrition Program webinar. My name is Colleen Fillmore, and I am the Idaho State Department of Ed Child Nutrition Director. Along with me today is the Child Nutrition State Agency team. Please begin submitting questions, and we will address those, as always, at the end of the webinar. Just as a few reminders before we start the entire webinar, as a reminder, USDA is extending waivers through June 30th, 2021. So what that means is, one, it allows for summer food and seamless meals to be served in all areas and at no cost. It permits meals to be served outside of the typical required group setting and meal times. It waives meal pattern requirements as necessary and allows parents and guardians to pick up meals for their children. As you all know, the Child Nutrition team has been working with everyone on the required documentation that you need to send into the state agencies to move forward. Another thing that's very important for us to remember at this point, as we continue into the school year, remember you are required to have a backup plan in case your kitchen staff at a school is quarantined due to COVID-19. Your plan is a local decision, yet if you plan on receiving reimbursement, then the meals served to the students and the community must meet the USDA regulation for reimbursement. The purpose of the plan is how to address if your kitchen and/or district needs to be quarantined due to COVID. Also, if your kitchen is quarantined, you must work with your local health department to ensure that the requirements are met in that area. Okay, another reminder, we are coming very close to the due date for the $2 million for the Idaho Rebounds money for child nutrition. To receive the money, you must have, for the first phase, you must have that submitted by October 31st, which is this Sunday. Even though it's the weekend, we will count those that are being submitted through October 31st. So the important thing is we did have $2 million. There were some sponsors that informed us that they did not plan on claiming that money. And for that reason, any unobligated funds remaining after the first phase will be reallocated to eligible sites for their COVID-19 expenses. So again, if you do not plan on submitting and you haven't notified our office, please let either Sean or myself know that as soon as possible. Now, yesterday, Sean sent an email to all qualified school districts for the second round of reallocated money. The second phase will begin once the first phase is completed. And if you intend on asking for additional money during the second phase, you must complete a very short form that Sean sent you yesterday so we can update the GRA system. You will not be able to even get into the GRA if we have not updated the amount that you are going to request. So, in addition, want to remind everyone that there's going to be a town hall on Thursday, November 18th from 2:30 to 3:30. If you have any questions on that, you can either address those with Heather or anyone else on the team. And also, as a reminder, all of the information that we provide to you is either through a broadcast email and in addition to the Idaho State Department of Education reopening site. So we again want to thank everyone for their hard work. We know that COVID continues. I think we were all hopeful that the numbers would not be increasing at this point, but they are. So we want you to know how much we appreciate what you do. You have a very important job and know that you are appreciated. So at this time, I am going to hand it off to Mary Ann.
Thanks, Colleen. Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. For my section, I wanted to just do a few reminders. regarding our SSO and SFSP operations this current school year. For our summer feeding sponsors, as a reminder, as you guys remember from earlier this spring, regarding second meals. Second meals are not allowable during COVID-19 operations, so please make sure that if you are serving second meals, that unfortunately it's not reimbursable. Are to bus deliveries. For our current SSO sponsors, when you're filling out your SSO packet, if you're serving 1 week's worth of meals in one distribution, please make sure to check off your Monday through Friday operation in My Idaho CMP. Now, this is the opposite for our summer feeding sponsors. If you are utilizing the bus deliveries, and if you are serving 1 week's worth of meals in one distribution, please make sure to select all of the days that the meals are being served under each of your site application for the bus deliveries. And as always, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to the Child Nutrition Programs team. So with that, I would like to pass it on to TJ.
Great, thank you so much, Marianne. So we're going to go ahead and cover a couple of different aspects. The first being that on October 14th, 2020, so seems like months and years ago, but it was just actually a few days ago, USDA released an updated Q&A where they addressed the fact that those that used to run or those that participate in the after-school snack program can actually run that program concurrently with either their seamless summer option program or their summer food service program. So the complexity around that is it basically happens in My Idaho CMP. There are some areas that need to be updated, and the state agency has determined that for program integrity purposes, we need to ensure that the sponsor has in fact participated in the online after-school snack program training, which is available in the CMP portal, and we need to make sure that the appropriate updates in the My Idaho CMP packet are approved by the state agency to allow for claiming that particular program, since it is run under the National School Lunch Program, while also claiming the meals that are being served under the SSO or SFSP program. So if you're a sponsor that is curious at all about where you stand, you may have previously decided that you weren't serving after school snack because, you know, we have heard from some that your hands are full already with trying to serve the breakfast and the lunch and the mixed models and all those kinds of things. That's fine. You do not have to operate the snack program. But if you do choose to operate the snack program, please make sure that the state agency is aware that that is your intention, so that we know you have selected the months of operation in the appropriate My Idaho CMP packet. So that's the first bit of news, because everything changes after we think we know what we're doing. And then the other thing that we wanted to go ahead and cover is to make sure that everyone understands, because we are crossing fiscal years, how you claim your program really, you may be claiming your first month of operation under SSO in a 2019-2020 My Idaho CMP packet instead of your 2021 operating packet. So if you began, you have to determine what program did you operate in September. So if you actually were approved to start operating the SSO or SFSP at some point in September, back to claiming September 1, you need to make sure that you're in your school year 1920 packet and claim all of the September meals under SSO as free. Now that brings up the issue of what if I collected funds because I didn't know that this was going to happen. School districts do have the opportunity to either credit the students who may have paid for meals in September because of their status, or refund those student meals. And then make sure that if you ran the National School Lunch Program for the entire month of September, so you didn't transition for whatever reason, you would actually be claiming in your school year 2021 packet all of the September meals under the NSLP, which is also categorized as S&P, School Nutrition Program claiming module. So it's a little bit convoluted, but we just want to make sure that you understand that essentially if you began operating SSO or SFSP in September 2020, you must claim that month in the 2019-2020 My Idaho CMP packet. So hopefully that helps. And then let's go ahead and move to the next situation. So we have many sponsors that just weren't quite sure whether they were going to transition or not. And so some, once they realized where they were at and the fiscal impact of operating under NSLP as opposed to claiming all meals free under SSO or SFSP, they chose to begin operating programs under the waivers in October. So if you started operating SSO or SFSP at any point in October and were approved to do that as of October 1, you will claim all of your meals in the 2020-2021 claim under SSO or under SFSP. So that transition does not happen for those that started operating in October. And that is because those packets represent fiscal years. September is part of the old fiscal year. October is when we begin a new fiscal year. So hopefully that helps a little bit in where you go to make those claims. But again, if for any reason you're just not quite sure, make sure that you reach out to the state agency staff, and we're happy to point you in the right direction. And with that, there's just one more update that I'd like to remind. Some folks have not completed updates to their My Idaho CMP packet by unchecking months of operation in sections A and B of your My Idaho CMP packet. So the reason we need to have you do that, if you've opted into feeding under the waivers, SSO and SFSP, it's for program integrity. We need to ensure that in your school nutrition program site applications, there is no possibility that you would accidentally claim meals for October or moving forward. So please make sure that you have updated your school nutrition program site packets as well as have your SSO or SFSP site applications approved for operations. If you have any questions about that, again, please reach out to Child Nutrition Programs at sde.idaho.gov, and we're happy to walk you through that process. So now I'll turn the time over to Jen, and she's going to cover a couple of other items for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, TJ. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to address the on-site review requirements for SSO. So all school food authorities operating the Seamless Summer option are required to review each SSO site at least once during its operation. The Seamless Summer option on-site review checklist shown here is the form to complete and document this review. This checklist is located in download forms in My Idaho CMP. On Monday, a broadcast email was sent to SSO sponsors with instructions to complete this on-site monitoring. There is no requirement for which meal, as long as at least one meal service is observed for each SSO site. The questions on the form will guide you through operational requirements. Please complete this checklist in its entirety. When completing the top portion, list the SSO site name exactly as it is listed in My Idaho CMP. And be sure to select Open or Closed Enrolled as approved in the site application. Each SSO site will need at least one first review. A follow-up review is only required if corrective action was identified. Also, please take time now to preserve documentation related to the SSO outreach and notifications to families or the community announcing the free meals, and then retain that promotion with your records. Please contact us if you have any questions related to how to conduct this review. And now I would like to pass it on to Kat Forsey because she will cover the procurement reviews.
Thanks, Jen. Good morning, everyone. The slide here is shown to let you know that procurement reviews are taking place and 15 schools have already been notified. Letters were emailed to the superintendents and the principals and the food service directors or the program contacts that are listed in My Idaho CNP. There will be a total of 35 SFAs reviewed this year, with the next round of letters coming with a start date in January. The current letters have a start date of November. So after the holidays, the next round will go out. And just remember that procurement reviews are conducted separately from the administrative reviews, and these are done only as a desk review. We will be looking at the purchases that took place during the 2019-2020 school year, and this will be any purchases made from the nonprofit food service account, also known as the Fund 290 for public schools. And then the items you see on the slide need to be uploaded into My Idaho CNP. And there will be a step-by-step guide sent along with the email with the letters telling you how to complete the uploads with that email. The Excel vendor sheet that's going to come seems to be the most problematic and have the most questions. So please call me if you need help getting that done. My number is 208-332-6834. And I'd be happy to walk you through any of the areas that you might have questions on. We'll also need you to upload the nonprofit food service account ledger and that Excel vendor template. And there is a training in the CNP portal for procurement. It kind of walks you through the hows and the whys. So that's all I have. Please call me if you do have any questions or email me. You will see a letter coming to you if your school is one of the 35, and you're always welcome to call me if you want to know if you might be on the list for this year. And so now with that, thank you very much, and we'll go back to Colleen.
Okay, thank you, Kat, and everyone else. So appreciate you sharing. So let's get going here on the questions. So the first one is, if we switch to Seamless Summer closed enrolled site, can we serve meals on Friday, a non-school day, because we are a 4-day week and 4-day week school and can't serve meals on Friday under NSLP? So Heather, would you please take that one?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So with the Seamless Summer option, or SSO, you may operate on non-school days.
Very good. Thank you, Heather. Okay, next question. Sorry if this is a repeat question, and it's okay. We can get repeat questions as much as we need. Sometimes that helps us learn. If everyone could make sure and mute their phones, that would be great. Okay, I'm getting still some feedback here. So what are the requirements for completing a point of service review as required under NSLP? So TJ, you want to take that one?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And I think the question probably came in before Jen was able to share the information on the on-site monitoring requirements. But Jen covered the form, and I wanted to make sure that you're aware that the form for SFA on-site monitoring checklist for SSO is available as a handout on this webinar, but it's also located in the download form section of My Idaho CMP. So hopefully you were able to get those requirements as covered by Jen. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out to us. Thank you.
Great, thank you, TJ. Next question. I know that I have asked the question, but have we heard anything concerning verification? I have been asked why we are still running this if lunches are free. I have began the process and all, but I have not received anything yet. So Melissa is our wonderful guru on verification, so we'll give that to her.
I'm going to actually combine two questions into one. Yeah, we're still doing verification. We have not received any guidance that, that we don't have to do verification. So we're going to continue collecting the reports. I'll be sending more information out. If you've not made much progress on verification, don't worry about it. We'll work with you. But watch for more guidance this week. Thanks.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, next question. If the district wants to begin after-school snack, do I apply in the NSLP packet? So Heather will give you that one.
Yes, so after school snack program is a program that's indicated in the site application of the application packet in My Idaho CMP. So you would click that is a program you want to operate, and then check the months of operation in the site application for NSLP. That's not going to be visible in the Seamless Summer site apps. It will be in the school nutrition program, or more commonly known NSLP site application. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Heather. Now, I think this next question has been answered. I'll still go ahead and read it. And Melissa, if you have any more to add, let me know. Okay, the question is, should we still be completing verification even if we are not currently running NSLP? So again, Melissa, I think you've answered that, but is there anything else you would like to add?
Nope, it's correct. You still complete the report. And again, I will send information out, and by all means, call me or email me with any questions you have. I can help out.
Very good, thank you. Now, I am wondering if this question's been answered too, but I still want to read it. Update about the point of service review question. Is a point of service review required as in NSLP under summer food? So Dominique, you want to take that one?
Yes, thank you. Great question, but the POS review is a NSLP requirement and is not required when operating under the summer food service program. Thanks.
Very good. Thank
Pauline,
you, Dominique.
May I interrupt? I just want
Absolutely.
to, in case anybody else is also thinking about this, we do have some sponsors who are operating National School Lunch Program. They will be required to complete the POS counting review on-site monitoring form as required, which is due February 1st each year. Everybody else who has either switched to summer SFSP or the seamless summer option SSO, they have different monitoring requirements. So the SSO sponsors have received a broadcast email, and I know the summer food team has also reached out with monitoring requirements for the seamless summer for the summer food operators. But I also want to just again plug the the town hall meeting that will be occurring November 18th. The topic of that town hall meeting will be monitoring. And we will cover a little more detail and answer questions too about all the three different monitoring requirements occurring depending on which program you will be operating.
Yeah, that's a good clarification, Jen, because we do have several different scenarios going on out there throughout the state. So each situation has its unique situation going on there. Okay, next question. Should we still be trying to collect applications? If we don't have as many applications this year because of free lunch, will that affect programs that our district depends on that goes off of free and reduced percentages? So I'm going to add some information here, but then the rest of the child nutrition team, if they would please add anything that I have missed. So any applications that you do receive, you will need to process those. Now, for the programs that other programs outside of child nutrition that use our free and reduced percentages, we have even had questions here in the Department of Ed when it comes to things like E-rate or title programs, things of that nature. And we have asked those individuals that use our information to talk with their direct reports, whether it's Department of Ed or the National Department of Ed or whomever, because you are exactly right. We will not have that information as we have in past years. So we are certainly feeling that USDA and other program areas will be giving further guidance in this area. And the rest of the Child Nutrition State Agency team, do you have more to add to this answer?
Yes, actually, this is Heather, and it's not an answer, but it is a question back to everyone on the call in response to this topic. Please be thinking, what is the eligibility status of your students going to be starting next year? So when you think about 30-day carryover as this opportunity to get new eligibility determinations, and you're in this grace period where what was true for student determinations last year, you can honor that the first 30 operating days. What is that going to look like next year in light of the lack of guidance we have with regard to processing applications? So just be thinking about that. We don't have any additional guidance on that. We actually have some clarification questions that we've sent to USDA. The USDA Q&A this year that mentioned pausing 30-day carryover is only true for this year. We did receive written guidance that that is a 30-day carryover pause for this year. Next year is going to be a separate issue. So just be thinking, if you don't process apps this year, what are your student statuses going to look like first day of operating next year?
Yeah, thank you, Heather. And also, it is not mandated that you collect applications. So all of this, you know, in addition to what Heather has already shared. Anyone else on the state agency team have anything else to add to that question? It's a very timely question with, you know, the fall season. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Can our COVID food service quarantine plan include halting service if the food service staff is all in quarantine? Is halting food service allowable even though our school is in session? Does this plan need to be uploaded or just something we should have on site? I'm going to give this to TJ, but before I hand it off to her, I do want to remind everyone that your plan is a local decision. And so we have heard from at least one district where the entire staff, child nutrition staff, has been quarantined, and school is still continuing, and we are getting updates from that district. We do know at one time they planned on still serving, and so that's the reason that for our strong reminder that you need to contact local health departments if this happens with you. So TJ, do you have anything else that you'd like to add there?
No, I think you covered it, Colina. You know, those two critical points are the health department in your area really needs to be a part of the discussion. And then, of course, the school district administration. There are a couple of schools that we've been notified the school district administration wants meals to continue to be served, and they're trying to step in and assist with that process. So really, again, local control. But as far as updating your plan, it's a good idea to update it because then you have something in writing to provide to your community. But if you have the capacity to upload the plan into My Idaho CMP, we at the state agency appreciate that, simply because we use that information to help our region and USDA at large understand what's happening in our state. So we don't want to put any additional burdens on anyone, but making sure that your plan is solid is really the key, and working with those decision makers in your area. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, thank you, TJ. Next question. We began the year in National School Lunch, and our student eligibility rolled over to pay as scheduled in October. After the recent announcement that students are eligible for 30 days in NSLP and our students used a portion of that eligibility this year, do we need to roll back student eligibility? How will that work for students who completed an application for the year 2020-21? So Heather, I'll go ahead and give that one to you.
Yes, thank you. So we are getting this question quite a lot, and we have sent it up to USDA to be considered. And our regional office was unable to provide direction on this, so they have actually sent it up to the national office. It sounds like other regions are experiencing this challenge, but currently we do not have any guidance to direct you one way or another in terms of what to do with 30-day carryover statuses that already expired before the guidance came out. So at this point, I would continue to wait for that guidance that we're seeking on your behalf.
Thank you, Heather. Okay, at this time, that is all the questions that we do have. As always, I will toss it out to the state agency team and see if there's anything else that they feel that we need to provide to our audience. Okay, so again, we don't have any more questions, so we will look at closing this webinar, but again, do want to remind you about the town hall. It is all the town halls have been very good, and with the topic that's going to be discussed this time, I think it will be extremely beneficial. And again, as always, please reach out to any of us if you have questions. We appreciate all of you. So thank you so much, and this is the end of the webinar for today. Bye-bye.